ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा गदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुक्तपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पदान सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितां च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिकाकांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. So welcome to IBC Siksha. We are reading 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and we reached to 17th verse. Today we'll do the 18th verse. But before going there, where are we? So Krishna talked about two qualities, divine and demoniac, right? Divine qualities is talked first: modesty, steady determination, freedom from covetousness, renunciation, freedom from anger, truthfulness. Okay. Then he talked about demoniac: pride, arrogance, conceit, anger, harshness, and ignorance. Using Ravana as an example, we went through each of them, right? And then we went further into demoniac, how they think. Okay. See, the way they think is, so much wealth do I have today, and I will gain more according to my schemes. So much is mine now, and I will increase in my future, and it will increase in future more and more. He is my enemy, and I have killed him, and other enemies will also be killed. I am the lord of everything. I am the enjoyer. I am perfect, powerful, and happy. I am the richest man surrounded by aristocratic relatives. There is none so powerful and happy as I am. I shall perform sacrifices, and I shall give some charity, and thus I shall rejoice. So this is how a demoniac person thinks. And they perform sacrifices in name only. Just like, we discussed Ravana. In name only, he did some Shiv, you know, worship. But in reality, did he practice the qualities of Lord Shiva? No. Lord Shiva, he is unattached to anything. So when he got married to Parvati, right? It is a story, very nice story. Um, when he got married to Parvati, they were living under a tree. So Parvati said, "Now that you are married, let's build some house and all that." So Lord Shiva said, "Okay, let me build the house." So then he built the house, and then there was opening of the house, Graha Pravesham. So he called all the devotees and devtas and brahmanas, and he called everyone. And then he did nice puja, everything. At the end, he was giving charity. So one brahmana came and he said, "I want this house." And Lord Shiva said, "Okay, take it." So he was so detached. Again, they lived under a tree only. So considering that, Ravana never took to the qualities and the footsteps of Lord Shiva, right? So therefore, his sacrifices are in name only. You're getting? Like this, we can go to every demoniac person and we'll understand that whatever sacrifices they do, it's only the name. It's just for what? Some prestige. I did this, like that. Okay, now we'll go further. Hmm. Can you read translation?
Yes, Prabhuji. Bewildered by false ego, strength, pride, lust, and anger, demons become envious of Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated in their own bodies and in the bodies of others, and blaspheme against their real religion.
So they are always, against God's supremacy. They don't want that supremacy. They want to be themselves supreme. He thinks himself independent and powerful in every action. He thinks that since no one is equal to him in strength, power, and or wealth, he can act in any way. No one can stop him. If he has an enemy who might check the advancement of his sensual activity, he has plans to cut him down by his own power. Can you read this translation purport?
Those who are envious and mischievous, who are the lowest among men, I perpetually cast into the ocean of material existence into various demonic species of life. Purport. In this verse, it is clearly indicated the placing of particular individual soul in a particular body in prerogative of supreme will. Demonic person may not agree to the accept the supremacy of a god, and it is the fact that he may act according to his own whims, but his next birth, will depend upon the decision of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and not on himself. In Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto, it is stated that an individual soul after his death is put into the womb of a mother where he get a particular type of body under supervision of superior power. Therefore, in the material existence, we find so many species of life, animals, insects, men, and so on. All are arranged by a superior power. They are not accidental. As for the demonic, it is clearly said here that they are perpetually put into the wombs of demons, and thus they continue to be envious, the lowest of mankind. Such demonic species of men are held to be always full of lust, always violent and hateful, and always unclean. The many kinds of hunters in the jungle are considered to belong to demonic species of life.
Yeah. So those who are envious and mischievous, right? They take many different bodies within animal kingdom, within reptile kingdom, and we know those kingdoms are very what to say, harsh and terrible, and there's a lot of fighting going on, right? Little ants also fight, the bees fight, everybody's fighting, right? The birds also fighting. And then within the human species of life also, they will take birth in families where all this fighting will be going on, quarreling, fighting, and killing each other. So like that, those who are envious, they like to be in that, so they will get that kind of bodies. Now let me ask you, Krishna is saying he puts envious and mischievous into lowest among men. Does the government also does like that? How does the government do like that? Those who are envious, murderers, criminals, what does the government do to them?
They'll put into dark jail or something.
Yeah. So in the jail, what kind of association they'll get? Similar people,
Uh,
right? Other
yes, yes,
criminals
similar
and all
people.
that, right? So similarly, the government also does the same thing. If you want to be, if you want to disturb peace, you go into jail. You be in the jail and all, right? So Krishna is also doing like that. Now, very interestingly, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says in this particular verse, Krishna is using the word perpetually. Perpetually means always. They won't come out of it. Now, Krishna is all merciful, right? Krishna is all merciful also. He is father, mother, grandfather. See, mother is merciful, father is also merciful, grandfather is supremely merciful. So that is what is Krishna. He said that how he says perpetually he will put. So sometimes parents they tell their children, I will leave you, right? Somewhere outside if the child is not listening, and I'll leave you here and I'll go alone only. So do they mean that? Do
No,
the
Prabhuji.
yeah. So this is what Krishna is also saying. I'll perpetually put them. I will leave you all. You'll go there, and you will never come. So little bit of anger with the demoniac people, but he gives them chance. So many demonic people he himself kills. He sends his demigods to kill. Now, very interestingly, I will show you from Bhagavatam. Huh? Um, there's a story of Prithu Maharaj, right? Prithu, not Prithu, sorry, Dhruva. Dhruva, I think fourth. I think, yeah, fight with the yakshas. So in this story, right, what happens is Dhruva Maharaj, he um, okay, just let me find that. Okay, I think it's in this. Yeah, this verse. So what happens is Dhruva Maharaj's brother is killed by some yaksha who live in the Himalayan regions. So he himself goes and fights with them and he starts killing many people. So all these yakshas now they are very envious people. Hmm? But this is what happened with them. When Dhruva Maharaj saw the yakshas coming forward, he immediately took his arrow and cut the enemies to pieces. Separating their arms, legs, heads, and bellies from their body, he delivered the yakshas to the planetary system which is situated above the sun globe and which is attainable only by first class brahmacharis who have never discharged their semen. So the question is, he delivered. Delivered means what? He actually killed, right? Why the word delivered is there used? Ninanya. The word delivered is used that even though yakshas were so envious, but because they got killed by a pure devotee, they got benefit. What benefit they got? They went to a planetary system which is above the sun globe. Only first class brahmacharis can reach there. Were they qualified for this? Were they qualified for this planetary system where first class brahmacharis come? No. But because of mercy of Dhruva Maharaj, that he killed them, they got this planet. So killing therefore is not always bad. If the killing is done by Supreme Personal Godhead and his devotee or in great sacrifice, it is the benefit of the entity killed in that way. Okay. So they got a benefit out of it. So you will come back to Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna says, I'll perpetually cast, but sometimes he himself comes, he may send his devotees or he may send his demigods and they'll also kill, right? And they'll kill in large number. But there'll be some benefit because they got killed. Getting? So that's how Krishna
Yes,
saves them.
Prabhuji.
Yeah, that's how Krishna saves them. So Krishna's killing is also mercy only. And his killing is mercy, his devotees involved in that, demigods involved in everything is mercy. Right? So even though Krishna will say perpetually, he will still give them a chance. Attaining repeated birth among the species of demonic life, oh, such a person will never approach me. Gradually, they'll sink down to the most abominable type of existence. So Krishna is continuing that, how a parent shouts at the child, I will leave you here. You live here alone. I won't look at you. You won't see me in years. Right? Sometimes parents do like that, right? To their child. When they're not listening, they threaten them. So similarly, Krishna is threatening here. This is what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying. Can you read the purport? Sorry.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hmm.
It is known that God is all merciful, but here we find that God is never merciful to demonic. It is clearly stated that demonic people, life after life, are put into wombs of similar demonics and not achieving the mercy of a supreme Lord. They go down and down, so that at last they achieve bodies like those of cats, dogs, yokes. It is clearly stated that such demons have practically no chance of receiving mercy of God at any stage of latter life. In Vedas also it is stated that such persons gradually sink to become dogs and hogs. It may be then argued in the connection that God should not be advertised as all merciful. If he is not, if he is not,
Merciful to his demons. And you are here. If he is not merciful to his demons.
if he is not merciful to such demons, in answer to the question in Vedanta Sutra, we find that the Supreme Lord has no hatred for anyone. Placing of asuras, the demons in the lowest status of life, is simply another feature of his mercy. Sometimes asuras are killed by Supreme Lord, but this killing is also good for them. For in a Vedic literature, we find that anyone who is killed by Supreme Lord becomes liberated. There are instances in the history of many asuras, Ravana, Kamsa, Hiranyakashipu, to whom Lord appear in various incarnations just to kill them. Therefore, God's mercy is shown to asuras if they are fortunate enough to be killed by him.
Yeah. So we know that when Krishna kills, they get liberation. Okay. Sometimes few of them reaches back home, back to Godhead. Most of them get uh, Brahman. What you say? Brahman realization. They
Brahma
merge.
Jyoti,
Yes.
Prabhuji.
They merge into Brahma. Hmm? And we saw here in this example, Dhruva also they get some benefit. Similarly, by killing by some demigod and all that, they get some benefit. You know? This is a very important verse. There are three gates to hell, leading to hell: lust, greed, anger. Every sane man should give up these, for they lead to degradation of soul. So we should control our lust, anger, and greed. This is what is very very important for a devotee, non-devotee, anybody. If he controls this right, then he can advance very nicely spiritually. The beginning of demonic life is described here. One who tries to satisfy his lust and he cannot. Anger and greed arises. Can you give me example of this? One who tries to satisfy, he cannot. When he cannot, anger and greed arises. Give me example of Ravana. Let's start with Ravana and then we'll move to.
Shurpanaka also, we can take, no, Prabhuji.
Yes, yes, yes. See, all demonic people we can take. Like Ravana had a very beautiful wife, Mandodari, but he still wanted to enjoy other women. And when he couldn't, he captured them, right? And then there was anger and greed, right, in him, like this. A sane man who does not want to glide down to species of demonic life must try to give up the three enemies, which can kill the self to such an extent that there will be no possibility of liberation from the material entanglement. So going into animal species is very dangerous actually. Yeah, read this please. Translation purport.
The man who has escaped these three gates of hell, was son of Kunti, performs act cohesive to
Conducive,
self-realization and
conducive,
thus
conducive.
conducive to self-realization and thus gradually attains the supreme destination. One purport, one should be very careful of these three enemies to the human life: lust, anger, and greed. The more person is free from lust, anger, and greed, the more his existence become pure. Then he can follow the rules and regulations enjoyed en- enjoined enjoined in
Enjoined in the
Vedic
Vedic
literature.
literature. Yeah.
By following the regulative principles of human life, one gradually raises himself to the platform of spiritual realization. If one is so fortunate by such practical to raise to the platform of Krishna consciousness, then success is guaranteed for him. In Vedic literature, the ways of action and reactions are prescribed to enable one to come to the stage of purification. The whole method is based on giving up the lust, greed, and anger. By cultivating knowledge of this process, one can be elevated to the highest position of self realization. This realization is perfected in the devotional service. In the devotional service, liberation of conditioned soul is guaranteed. Therefore, according to the Vedic system, they are instituted four order of a life and four status of a life called caste system and the spiritual order system. There are different rules and regulations for different castes and divisions of society. And if person is able to follow them, he will be automatically raised to the highest platform of spiritual realization. This then he can have liberation without a doubt.
Yeah. So so we have to perform acts which are conducive to self-realization, right? To progress in life. Someone is sick, then what he should do is someone has diarrhea. Did you ever have diarrhea?
What is that, Prabhuji?
Loose motions.
Yeah,
Okay. So then once one get loose motion, what are the acts conducive to get rid of loose motion? Can you tell me?
curd and this methi will eat, Prabhuji.
What about milk? Can you drink milk?
Milk we should not drink.
Okay. What about solid foods?
Solid foods also it is not better to take.
Yeah. So he has to follow some acts which are very conducive to self-realization, and then gradually he will become not self-realized, but for healthy life. Then gradually he'll come to healthy life, right? So
Yes,
in our day-to-day life also we perform acts which are conducive for health, for our uh, health, or for our work, right? Similarly, for spiritual life also we should be able to do. Now, what are the acts of conducive which are self-realization? So one acharya in our line, Rupa Goswami, he explains this. What are the acts which are conducive? So in a literature called Upadesha Amrita, he tells it, nectar of instruction. So we'll read four of. Okay. Can you read text one?
text one, a sober person who can tolerate the urge to speak, mind's demands, action of anger and urges of tongue, belly and genitals is qualified to make disables all over the world.
Yeah. So first act is that we should control the urge to speak. We want to speak anything and everything. So we should control. We should speak what that is necessary. Krishna consciousness is necessary. We should speak that. Then we should speak only when at work we have to talk about our work, right? So that much only we should speak. Hmm? We should chant regularly the Vedic mantras, Bhagavad Gita. That's how we should control our speaking. Hmm? Speak is such a powerful thing, right? Uh, it hurts more than it hurts a person more than us uh, anything that may hit the person. Like a stick may hit the person. Speaking bad words, it hits a person even more than that, right?
Yes,
A
Prabhuji.
person may not hit you, but they tell you something really bad, and you will feel very hurt, right? Physically nothing has happened to you, you're healthy and all that, but mentally you're very much disturbed. Why he said to me like that, right? So that's why we have to control the urge to speak. Then mind's demand. Mind demands anything. We should control the mind by mantra meditation, by satisfaction of the mind. To be satisfied with what we have. Okay. Then the angers of action of anger. Anger we are again reading, Anger we should try to control. Last time also we discussed about anger. What were the solutions that we discussed about anger? Do you remember?
Being silent, Prabhuji,
And what?
and we
See,
have to divert our mind.
we have to learn from the acharyas, from pure devotees, how they have controlled the anger. Okay. And when we desire to follow in their footsteps, this quality of controlling anger will come in us. Now, this is a secret of devotional service, spiritual life. That the desire to follow in the footsteps of great acharyas start giving us qualifications for all the qualities that they have. Little by little, everything comes. So, similarly, the anger, getting rid of anger also comes. So, that's why we should meditate on the lives of the great acharyas, great devotees, pure devotees. Hmm? And we should meditate on the bad effects of anger. Just by thinking what anger can do, that introspection will help us to control our anger, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
And then we should worship Lord Narasimha also. He is the incarnation of anger. So by worshipping Lord Narasimha, our anger will come down. Okay. And then urges of tongue. We want to eat anything, everything. Speaking is one activity. Tongue is eating. Belly is also eating. And then these two things will push the genitals. So if we control the tongue, the belly will be controlled. The belly is controlled, then genital will be controlled. All lines one line, right? So if tongue is controlled, everything will be controlled. Read this section also, text number 2.
Once devotional service is spoiled, when he becomes too entangled in the following six activities: eating more than necessary or collecting more fun than required, over enduring for mundane things that are very difficult to obtain, talking unnecessarily about mundane subject matters, practicing the scriptural rules and regulations only for sake of following them and not for the sake of spiritual advancement, or rejecting the rules and regulations of scriptures and working independently or whimsically, associating with worldly minded persons who are not interested in Krishna consciousness, and being greedy for mundane achievements.
Yeah. So eating more than necessary or collecting more funds than required. Eating more than necessary. Eat only that much, otherwise you may become obese, diabetes, and so many other things, right? Collecting more funds than required. If there is too much money, okay. If there is too less money, then a person is disturbed, right? If there is too less of money.
Yes, Prabhuji.
But if there is too much of money, then is he disturbed?
He is not disturbed.
Then what is he? Is he worried?
He's not worried, but he will think where to invest the money.
Yeah, so that is also worry, right?
Yeah, it's some sort of worry only.
Yeah, it's a different kind of worry. Okay, over endeavoring for mundane things which are very difficult to obtain. If there is over endeavoring to achieve something, which is very difficult, then that should be avoided. Talking unnecessarily about mundane subject matters, gossip, prachalpa, all these things will take us away from Krishna consciousness, right? At our stage, we may do little bit, but then we have to control. We have to come back, right? Sometimes, with our family members, with our friends, we may have to do some kind of unnecessary talking, right?
Yes,
So
Prabhuji.
little bit is okay, because they know only that much only, right? But we should control. We should not flow with them. Short time, and then we should come back to our life, our and focus on spiritual life. Practicing the scriptural rules only for the sake of following them. So just to just follow them. Not like that. It should transform in us. We are following it because um, we want to purify our heart, or we just don't want to follow anything in life. That both the things extreme should be avoided. Then associating with worldly minded persons who are not interested in Krishna consciousness. Too much of materialistic people, right? The association affects us like anything. The association affects us like anything. It is said that if we associate with a drunkard, what will happen?
Will become drunkard.
It's said like that, right? If we associate with a snake, nothing will happen. But if we associate with a person who is like a snake, very envious, then we
Will
also will
become
start
envious.
developing that enviousness, right? In Ramayana, there was one woman who associated with another woman and created the biggest drama. Who was she?
Okay.
And she associated with whom?
Mandir,
Mantra, na? Someone named
Mantara,
Mantra.
Mantara,
Yeah.
Mantara, Mantara, correct.
Yes. So you can see that point is mentioned here. And being greedy for mundane achievements. See, mundane achievements, if we get, we are happy. If we don't get also, we are still satisfied, right? Don't be greedy for it. Like I'll tell you, long time back, in my engineering days, um, I had one devotee friend, and he he was giving his final year exam. So few days before, he came to know from his batchmates that they can access the question paper. Okay, they can access the question paper. Now he was also invited. Do you want the question paper? Then this devotee thought that no, I don't want. I've studied properly and I will pass. There's no need for this thing. So what happened is there were other people who got the access to question paper, and then they looked at it and they passed everything. And then after a few months when the papers were checked and all, um, and they were checked and all, and then this devotee got marks, good marks he got, and the one who looked at the paper, right, he came He came first in the college. He came first in the college. So that person was very much greedy for mundane achievements. And I'll come first. I'll become the gold medalist. Right? So to achieve that greed, he did cheating. So that is not what a devotee should do. Okay? Mundane achievements, if we get it legally, it's fine. Get it? But greedy, then some cheating happens. Like we see, like we hear in sports, right? Match fixing. They're greedy for that. They're greedy for money actually. They lose, huh, for money. So such things we should not, a devotee should not engage. Can you read the third?
There are six principles favorable to the execution of pure devotional service: being enthusiastic, endeavoring with confidence, being patient, acting according to the regulative principles such as Savanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, hearing, chanting, and remembering Krishna, abandoning the association of non devotees, and the following in the footsteps of previous acharyas. These six principles undoubtedly assure the complete success of pure devotional service.
So if you want pure devotional service, these six principles are needed. Be enthusiastic. Endeavor with confidence, with being patient. Be patient, but be enthusiastic. Keep endeavoring. Follow the regulative principles, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu. Don't associate with non-devotees. Only associate with them to how much your work is involved. That's it. And follow in the footsteps of previous acharyas. Like I told you, if we aspire to do what they have done, how they have lived their life, how they have reciprocated and responded to certain situations in life, if we follow all that and if we desire to follow that, then success will definitely come to us. Getting?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Okay. Last one.
Offering gifts in charity, accepting charitable gifts, revealing one's mind in confidence, inquiring confidently, accepting prasad, and offering prasada are six symptoms of love shared by one devotee and another.
Okay. So in devotional life, how we should deal with devotees? We should offer them gifts. They will give us come gifts. We should reveal our mind in confidence. How to advance in Krishna consciousness. This is the difficulty I'm having. Now, what does this pastime mean? Such things inquiring confidentially. Then we should accept prasad and offer prasad. These are six symptoms of love shared by one devotee and another. Getting? So there are more things, but right now we don't have time. But these are the basic ones. Have you read this before?
I listened, Prabhuji, somewhere.
Uh, So yeah, so if we go back to our Bhagavad Gita, the acts conducive to self-realization is there in nectar of instruction and actually nectar of devotion also. So Rupa Goswami has listed down these two books for us. So you know, when you get time, you go through it. Nectar of instruction first, and then nectar of devotion. Okay. He who discards scriptural injunction and acts according to his own whims can neither can attain neither perfection nor happiness nor the supreme destination. So now we read nectar of instruction. If suppose somebody rejects nectar of instruction, what will happen? Will he advance? No, right? This is what
No,
Krishna is
Prabhuji.
saying. That we have to take to scriptural injunctions. Just like a doctor will prescribe, like after diarrhea, after loose motions and all, the doctor will prescribe, don't eat this, don't eat that. It's like injunctions. But if somebody tosses it out and then goes and drinks milkshake, what will happen? Will he get any happiness? No, right? another set of loose motions will happen. So therefore, one should be very loyal to Shastra Vidhi or directions given by Shastras. Okay, can you read this section?
As described before, Shastravidhi or direction of Shastra is given to the different caste and order of human society. Everyone is expected to follow these rules and regulations. If one does not follow them and acts whimsically according to his lust, greed, and desire, then he never be perfect in his life. In other words, a man may theoretically know all these things, but if he does not apply them in his own life, then he is to be known as the lowest of mankind. In human form of life, living entities is expected to be sane and to follow regulations given for elevating his life to the highest platform. But if he does not follow them, then he degrades himself. But even if he follows the rules and regulations and the moral principles and ultimately does not come to the stage of understanding of Supreme Lord, then all his knowledge becomes spoiled. And even if he accepts the existence of God, if he does not engage himself in the service of a Lord, his attempts are spoiled. Therefore, one should gradually raise himself to the platform of Krishna consciousness and devotional service. It is then and there that he can attain highest perfectional stage, not otherwise. The word kama karataha is very significant. The person who knowingly violates the rules acts in lust. He knows that this is a forbidden, but still he acts, which is called acting whimsically. He knows that this should be done, but still he does not do it. Therefore, he is called whimsical. Such persons are destined to be condemned by Supreme Lord. Such persons cannot have perfection which is meant for human life. Human life is especially meant for purifying one's existence, and one who does not follow the rules and regulations cannot purify himself, nor can he attain real stage of happiness.
Yeah. So, our human life is meant for purifying one's existence. And the Shastras are meant to tell us what we need to do to purify our existence. And if we don't listen, then we act in lust, things which are forbidden. If we commit a crime, what will happen? Police will catch us, right?
Yes,
Similarly, if we commit something which is Shastra against Shastras, then what will happen? Karma will catch us.
yes,
So,
yes,
so
Prabhuji.
yeah, that's how the system is made. So if we follow Shastra Vidhi, then our reactions and our karmas, all that will reduce and will slowly graduate. One more point Prabhupada says here, that we should follow all these rules and regulations, but ultimately come to the understanding of Supreme Lord and devotional service to the Lord. Otherwise, it is incomplete. Hmm? One should therefore understand what is duty, what is not duty by the regulations of scriptures. Knowing with such rules and regulations, one should act so that he may gradually be elevated. Just a minute. Can you read from here, Lord Chaitanya?
Lord Chaitanya Prabhu made his process very easily. E- Easy. He asked people simply to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. to engage in a devotional service of the Lord and eat the remnants of foodstuffs offered to the deity. One who is directly engaged in all the devotional activities is to be understood as having studied all the Vedic literature. He has come to the conclusion perfectly. Of course, for an ordinary person who are not in Krishna consciousness, who are not engaged in a devotional service, what is to be done and what is not to be done must be decided by injunction of Vedas. One should act accordingly without argument. That is called the following the principles of Shastra scriptures. Shastra is without the four principal defects that are visible in the conditioned soul. Imperfect senses, the propensity for cheating, certainty of committing mistakes, and certainty of being illusioned. These four principal defects in the conditioned life disqualify one from putting forth rules and regulations. Therefore, rules and regulations, as described in Shastras, being above these defects are accepted without alteration by all great saints, acharyas, and great souls. In India, there are many parties of spiritual understanding, generally classified as two, impersonalist and personalist. Both of them, however, lead their life according to principles of Vedas. Without the following the principles of scriptures, one cannot elevate himself to the perfectional stage. One who actually, therefore, understand the purport of Shastra is considered fortunate. In human society, aversion to the principles of understanding the spiritual supreme personality of Godhead is a cause of fall down. That is the great offense of human life. Therefore, Maya, the material energy of supreme personality of Godhead, is always giving us a trouble in the shape of threefold miseries. The material energy is constituted of three modes of material nature. One has to raise himself at least to the modes of goodness before path to the understanding the Supreme Lord can be opened. Without raising oneself to the standard of mode of goodness, one remains in ignorance and passion, which are the causes of demonic life.
If, however, one is able to be guided by a proper and a bona fide spiritual master, he who can lead one to path of elevation to higher stage, then one becomes successful. Um, so okay, okay. So yeah, this is the solution. Under a bona fide spiritual master, learn the shastra. From there, understand what acts are conducive for spiritual life, what acts will take us away from spiritual life, and then lead a path of elevation. Okay, then we can be successful in our spiritual life. Oh, this was the last. This was the last verse. Any questions or comments?
No, Prabhuji.
Okay. So from tomorrow,